Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the 808 podcast where we interview business owners, CEOs, marketing directors, whoever else I feel like. It is 4 questions in 8 minutes and 8 seconds because 808 looks like Bob, and here we go. Question number 1, in a few sentences, tell me who you are and what do you do?
So my name is Bergh, and I'm a big nerd, but I also run a data company that helps companies analyze data. It's called DataKitchen, and we've been in business for about 7 years, and we have a new idea that helps people analyze data. It's called data ops.
Perfect. Love it, Christopher. Right to the point. Question number 2, what advice do you want to share? Go.
Well, you know, being a middle-aged data nerd, you've probably got people in your company who analyze data. And I guess the mission of my company is to help you as a leader kind of treat those people nice. And, you know, treat your nerds nice, I guess, is my message. And how do you do that? How do you treat your nerds nice? Well, I think it goes way back to how you make a car. And so why do I want to bring up how you make a car? Well, I grew up in Wisconsin in the 80s, and there was a company that manufactured cars called American Motors, and they did a terrible car. It didn't run very fast, didn't work very well. And you know, my dad was in a union, and he drove a Toyota, and he took a lot of crap for driving a Toyota. And so the question is, why did Toyota succeed and American Motors go out of business? And then, of course, the question is, how does this relate to the nerds in your company who analyze data? Mm-hmm. Well, it turns out that how you manage people who analyze data is a lot like how you manage people who work in a factory. You have to focus on quality, you have to focus on honesty, you have to focus on lean, and you kind of have to build a factory to analyze data. And so if you help those people, your nerds in your company who analyze data, if you help them by working in a factory, by managing them in a different way, and don't expect them to do magic, I think you're going to get a lot more insight, because a lot of companies nowadays want to analyze data. They don't see data as a piece of furniture. They see it as something that can have value. And so if you've got that person in the back room who's sitting at a keyboard or banging on a spreadsheet and all you do is yell at them because you're not happy about them, I think you got to think about, am I going to manage them in the way that American Motors did, or am I going to manage them in the way Toyota did? And I think that's just a much better way. And how my company helps is we sort of build the factory that helps people analyze data. And so we're kind of the Toyota production system for data and analytics.
Perfect. So instead of just hiring you, what are some steps that people can do to manage their data better?
Well, I think it's, I don't know, I've got kids, right? And one of the first things when your room's messy is get it in one place. And so, you know, if your son or daughter's got a messy room, tell them to shove it all in the corner and like get all your data in one place. And then number 2 is think about how you analyze that data as a series of experiments. And so can you actually look at the data in different ways and see if it has value? Don't think of analyzing data as I'm going to spend 6 months building a house. Think of it as I'm going to do a bunch of short experiments to see if this makes sense.
Right.
And that means you've got to talk to the people who do it, and they're going to come to you with something that says, hey, is this 70% right? What do you think? And give them some feedback. And so like in auto manufacturing, the cycle time at which you can deliver analytics, how fast those people can bang on their keyboard, working in their factory, bring something to you for analysis, and then go back and fix it is really important. And so, you know, 1 is get the mess in a place. 2, think about working with the people to analyze data in an iterative way. And then from a management perspective, think about the cycle time at which they do their work and try to do that quickly. Don't think about having them go off for 3 months, have them do something fast and quick. And so that you can actually get insight. Because trying to figure out how to analyze data is, don't expect magic. These people who do it aren't magicians. They're just, you know, they're just curious people. And if you work with them and help them understand the data and help them work in a quick and iterative way, I think you're going to get better results.
Perfect. Love it there. Let's get to question number 3. It is time for the shout outs. Go for it.
Well, one of my fellow Boston CEOs, Andy Palmer, who runs a company called Tamer, I'm going to give him a shout out. He's a great CEO and investor, and he's been a good mentor to me.
Perfect. That works there. Love it. I'll look him up when done here. Number 4, the final fun question, Christopher. Tell me about your first sale.
Well, the first sale of DataKitchen is interesting because unlike a lot of tech companies, we are a bootstrapper. That means we're about a 53-person company, but we've never had any outside investors. And that's a little bit unusual in software companies and tech companies. And so as an engineer, it's been hard for me to sell. And my first sale was, I think, maybe it was a pity sale. Maybe they felt sorry for my co-founders and I. Here's these smart guys, they got an idea. I'm going to give them $3,000 a month just so to see what happens. And I think we were very happy to get it. Having a customer, having some income that I could show my wife, I think was very important. And so I think getting the first sale is sometimes a matter of luck and persistence, but it's also a matter of connections. And sometimes it's just a matter of having some people take pity on you because you're a smart guy. You can do some things.
Yeah,
so it was very key to helping the company move forward. And from them, I think from that time, we've learned to sell and have got big, global 3,000 companies as customers now.
Love it there. I'm actually give everyone else here a little tip real quick. If you get a pity sale and you go to the bank, they don't ask if it's a pity check. They cash it anyway.
3,000 a month on pity is still 3,000 a month.
It is. So, hey, Christopher, you've got 2 minutes and 11 seconds left. You can do some promo time. You can ask me a question. You can talk about the weather. Or since the best know when to be concise and when to end, we end early. Go.
That's a good question. You kind of caught me off balance. Well, I just want to do one more follow-up on people who analyze data. And because a lot of people who listen to this probably aren't sort of nerdy people who like to analyze data. They're more business people. And I think one of the things is that you want to not see those teams as a bunch of magicians who go off or as farmers. You got to treat them sort of with respect and be able to work with them to help get insight. And I think that's one of the key things that I've seen challenges in my career is business people, they got to make decisions. They're fast thinking and they just want the answer. And sometimes it takes thoughtful people and some nerdy people time to analyze data. So give them some time to do it, but also help them build a system and a factory to make it easy for the next question.
Love it there. Would you like some promo time? And if not, that's okay.
I think I'm good.
You are good. So you pulled it off. 4 questions in 8 minutes and 8 seconds. Christopher, why is it 8 minutes and 8 seconds?
Oh, because 8 minutes and 8 seconds sounds and looks, well, it doesn't sound like, but looks just like Bob.
It does. Love it. Hey, your website, say it real quick.
DataKitchen.io.
It's in the description. It's magic. There we go. So Christopher, thank you so much for being on. Tip of the hat to you.
Thank you much, sir. Have a great day.
You're welcome. And for everyone else watching or listening, I am legally required to tell you to like, share, comment, subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell, whatever the heck the social media network tells you to do. You all have a good one now. Talk to you later. Bye.